Hey agents, status effects are a significant part of gameplay in The Division 2. If you can become aware of their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, whether you're trying to survive them or dish them out to enemies, then status effects can be yet another tool in your tool belt that brings practical and tactical value everyone will appreciate. Having said that, you might be wondering if that means you can't be this meta status effects rage god. And the answer is no. I get it if some online videos have made it look like you can slap on a build and become godlike, but I'm here to help you become more strategic, for you and your team. We'll explore the underlying system governing status effects. You see, I'm a firm believer that copying online builds without a proper understanding just isn't enough. We want to know what the devs themselves had in mind. If we unlock that understanding, we can become more effective in combat in The Division 2. This will mean letting go of bad habits and adopting a growth mindset. Some players copy one online build after another, always drawn to strengths and opportunities, never managing weaknesses and threats. They go down repeatedly, and their lack of growth becomes a problem for others. Every player needs to own any weakness a build brings to them and the team. That's why I encourage people to be practical and tactical when playing The Division 2. You might have managed to copy the best God tier and meta builds you found online, and the builds might be well put together in and of themselves. But if you fail to be practical and tactical, even with status effects, if you're drawn to the big damage numbers and overlook weaknesses and threats, then no supposed God tier or meta build will help you. Your own choices and playing style will become your kryptonite, and you'll be the weakest link on teams. But if you're willing to grow, I'm here to grow with you. I'll give you the mindset reset you'll need to be a competent status effects operator. Now, part of that mindset reset means this. If you have been told that the only way to play this game is to run all red, all crit builds, that's actually incorrect dogma stemming from the old raid days when we had less understanding of the game, not to mention less equipment and tactical options. The developers have literally created 3 major categories of player roles: red for offense, yellow for utility or skills, and blue for defense, like your tank builds. In the old days, raids only ran all red because they'd otherwise lack DPS. Leaders drilled players to run all red, but they or someone they appointed would run a tank or a healer build to allow the other 7 to run all red and get through each mission phase. This all red only dogma sadly spilled into other game modes, and years later, some clan leaders still make others conform to this incomplete advice. The key is to diversify but cooperate where it makes tactical sense. So, what is the tactical value of status effects? If you can create status effects, here are my top 3 things to consider. First, anytime enemies are under status effects, if they are overwhelmed, they're not firing at you or your team. This is a valuable opportunity to shoot at them without them firing back. This is ideal for heavy and named enemies with high amounts of damage resistance, and you're still trying to break through their armor. Second is area denial. Enemies will flank. If you see them pouring out a door or manhole or from behind a truck, status effects can reduce their spread. And if they spread out, they can flank and try to get you from the sides if you're behind cover. And third, to some extent, some status effects can kill. This is a different approach, of course, to bullet or kinetic assault damage. I don't view this approach to killing as a replacement for DPS builds. Instead, it's something that works alongside DPS players. You see, every nice, good, and pleasant thing in The Division 2 has uptime and downtime. And this is a vital concept for you to keep in mind. If you're a DPS player, an enemy may require several magazines worth of ammo to take down. Each reload time is downtime. Depending on your reload time, a lot can happen, especially if an enemy is closing in. But with utility skills that you're relying on to create status effects, although they can provide a large effect, and that may be both tactically beneficial and look extremely cool, or tacticool as some call it, skills will operate for only so long. or they have limited ammo if they're the kind that fire. Once your skills go into cooldown, their downtime will be significantly longer than a magazine reload. And these are some of the things you're going to have to think about. Skills that rely on their own ammo require time for each ammo to come back, one by one. And it can feel like forever before your skill returns to capacity. Until then, you'll have to find ways to still bring value to the team, or stay alive without needing them to revive you. Ideally, the other players don't have to do too much extra work to keep you alive until your skills come back online. Otherwise, you'll be a carry, and that tends to turn off other players. So now you have quite the intro, and I've given you a lot to chew on. Feel free to rewatch this portion of the video to catch the nuances of what we've just covered. And now, let's take a look at the types of status effects that enemies can inflict upon you, but you can also create and use on them. Over here in the stats view, and down here in the defense category, are a variety of status effects and how much resistance you have to each of them. I like using this as a reference because it's hard to memorize everything in the game. If you deal with enemies that afflict you with any of these a lot, consider having some hazard protection on your build. Hazard protection will cover all these types of status effects. At 100%, you won't be phased at all, unless there's something specifically coded or even scripted to help the story. Now, a quick sidebar. The oxidizer is a technology, not a status effect, so Hazpro won't protect you. You'll just have to stay clear. Nor will it keep you from being pulsed in PvP. For that, you'll need pulse resistance instead. Okay, let's look at these one by one. Some are inherently lethal and cause gradual damage over time. So, bleed, burn, and poison come to mind. Others are non-lethal, but keep you out of the fight. Here, blind, deaf, disorient, disrupt, ensnare, and shock will do that. And just a quick note, even though this reads blind deaf, the game also refers to it simply as blind. Throughout the game, you'll need to survive, manage, and even dish out status effects. The enemy thinks outside the box, and so should you. In combat, you may have no way of fully predicting what enemies will hit you with and when. Here's a particularly difficult tactical scenario that I faced Summit on Legendary difficulty, with 4 directives. I know, I'm crazy, right? I wasn't the session owner. There is an enemy station farther down. I naturally take cover to assess the situation. That station is generally a priority. As I start sending bullets downrange, the Warhound on the left is charging towards us. Naturally, I decided to shift my focus, not realizing that the enemy station had a drone operator. The Warhound is firing on my position. My armor bars are depleting, but I can usually still hold my own. But suddenly, an explosion comes out of nowhere. All my armor bars are gone, and I have very little health left. Looking back at this footage, I think it was a bomber drone from the drone operator I missed. That causes me to bleed, as you can see from all this red on the edges of my screen. Not to mention the splash of blood from being shot in the head as well. Bleed is a status effect, so now I'm dealing with bleed damage, the Warhound's bullet damage, and the bomber drone's explosive damage. Explosive damage is not a status effect in and of itself, but it causes bleed. I'm already extremely vulnerable, and with no armor, the Warhound's bullets are causing my blood to spray profusely. A few more shots, and I'm dead. There was a lot going on at that very moment, right? Typically, if the armor bar is completely depleted, you have your health to stay alive. But in that split second or two, the explosion took out all my armor and most of my health. And in conjunction, the Warhound's bullets tore right into my flesh. You see, the enemy doesn't attack us in just one way. They'll use status effects along with kinetic damage. And this is where we have to look beyond everyone running only all red, all crit, and expand our thinking. We too can use status effects alongside our DPS teammates to achieve better outcomes. Each status effect will have a different impact. So let's take a look at each of these. Instead of just showing these status effects in alphabetical order, I've grouped them into two categories for you: lethal and non-lethal. Of course, there are exceptions. Status effects can be created or leveraged by weapon talents, gear, and skills, even certain grenades. Oh, and keep an eye on your surroundings. Environmental hazards and enemy weak points can combust, explode, and generate status effects, doing the work for you. For the ones in the lethal category, the name of the game is damage over time, or DOT. Let's look at how each of these actually works. Bleed. Here, I'm using a pistol with hollow point ammo to trigger bleed. Notice the double droplet icon above his head, and the orange bar indicating the remaining exposure time. Now, look at the damage. Bleed typically hits the enemy's armor bar first. As it persists, you'll see those blue armor damage numbers popping off. If you've spec'd into status effect attributes, you're not just making this last longer, you're increasing the damage of every single tick. Once that armor bar is gone, bleed starts eating into the health bar below it, and that's when you'll see the damage numbers turn red. Next up, burn. Here, I'm using a burn sticky bomb skill. It functions similarly to bleed by depleting armor before hitting health, but it has a huge tactical bonus: crowd control. While they're on fire, enemies usually panic and stop shooting. I love this. The flame icon and the orange timer tell you how long they'll stay in that barbecue state. And remember, fire is social. If you pop an enemy's weak point and it explodes, any nearby enemies are going to catch those flames too. It's fantastic for clearing tight spaces. Then we have poison. Poison is mainly reserved for NPCs to use against us. We don't have poison ammo or canisters to toss around, but we do have access to it through the Scorpio exotic shotgun. On the second shot, it applies a venom debuff. Check out the icon. It's the chemistry flask with the X. The green numbers are poison at work. In theory, poison ignores armor entirely. It's meant to bypass enemy armor and eat their health bars directly. Well, that's your high-level look at lethal status effects. Just keep in mind that the time to kill, or TTK, can be a bit slow if you're just standing around waiting for a status effect to do all the heavy lifting. They are powerful, but they're at their best when used in conjunction with your standard kinetic damage to finish the job faster. Personally, I feel it's most fun when you have a team. As you run around the world, look for those red weak points or fuel cans. If you've ever shot one, you've created a status effect. The cool thing is, you don't need a dedicated status build to leverage status effects. You only need a build when you have a tactical need to generate these effects on demand, especially if it helps your team. Next are the non-lethal status effects. Try not to look down on them, even though they aren't lethal. If you're dishing them out, they can be very effective to limit enemy movement, control crowds, reduce the damage they do to your team, and create windows of opportunity for you and your group to gain the upper hand. If you're on the receiving end, they can temporarily disable you and any other affected group members. In those few seconds, a lot can happen. In some cases, you might be able to shrug them off. In other cases, they compound your circumstances and turn a non-lethal situation into a highly lethal one. Let's take a look at how they work. Blind. If enemies are rushing your position and an assault turret and striker drone aren't enough to hold them off, consider swapping the striker drone for a blinder Firefly. The higher the skill tier, and with the +1 max targets mod, I can mark more targets while prolonging the effect duration. Begin attacking enemies one by one as the Firefly makes its way around. While they're blinded, you and your assault turret have ample time to fire at them without them returning fire. And if they have weak points that create status effects, you can continue disabling them. Best yet, your DPS is unchallenged by blinded enemies. Disorient. Similar to the blind effect, Disorient temporarily disables enemies, giving you a window of opportunity to unleash hell on them. Disorient doesn't require a skill build. In fact, if your character runs the Gunner specialization, you can unlock the Banshee Pulse. A quick button press will give a short-range pulse. Long pressing the assigned button will focus and narrow the beam, but increase the range. When affected, they're hunched over and can be fired upon without them putting up a fight. You might even catch them saying amusing things. Disrupt. Just as enemies have EMP, so do you. Your jammer pulse, for example, can temporarily disrupt enemies' mechanical skills, such as warhounds, tanks, and turrets. Disrupt also destroys proxies like drones and seeker mines. Ensnare. When foamed, enemies become immobilized and turn their attention from you to breaking free. Yet another opportunity to load a magazine or two into them. Enemy riot foam is vulnerable to kinetic damage. If teammates are foamed, you can shoot the foam to help them break free. In raids, if you're caught in foam yourself, simply blind fire at your feet to break free. And finally, shock. Shock from the shock trap utility skill can stun both human enemies and their skills alike. In Summit, and in difficulty modes such as Legendaries, the spread of shock traps at skill tier 6 can snag and paralyze bomber drones marvelously. Keeping enemy waves at bay can definitely create some interesting opportunities. Traditionally, players have incorrectly viewed status effects as a means to ultimate power, or that they're of little worth compared with crits. This has been a high-level overview with a strong lens of tactical value, and we'll go deeper beyond this Part 1 module. But now you've seen that status effects help us from area denial to creating opportunities to controlling outcomes. What's been your biggest takeaway from this video? The most important thing I want to leave with you is this. We must never be so tunnel-visioned that we lose sight of the fact that our poor choices, whether it's builds or playing style, are putting other team members at risk and obligating them to make up for our weaknesses. We must do our own part so that we're adding tactical value and not diminishing it in any way. If that's you, Agent, and you're looking to status effects to help those around you, then I'm proud to continue this learning journey with you. Until the next video, stay strong, stay safe, and stay dangerous.